right, so this is where we are in agreement with. We've been in agreement with this for a long time. Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren. I mean, it's honestly, I'm loving it now because now the film guys on Twitter are starting to come around, and I'm seeing it more and more and more. Everyone before was like, "Oh, Tyler Warren, tight end one, blah blah blah." It's flipped, and I'm very happy.
Yeah, Colston Loveland's the best tight end in the draft. He is like elite, like potentially not Bowers level. No one can be Bowers level. You can't say anybody's going to be Brock Bowers, but if anyone is going to push for that top 5, top 3 tight ends, like Colston Loveland is your guy. Personally, the reason I'm fading Tyler Warren, a lot of it has to do with late breakout. He has a 40th percentile breakout edge. Obviously there was Theo Johnson there the year before, but he was I like Drew Ayar a lot. So I think he's pretty good QB. I think that helped him a lot. I just personally, in my opinion, I think Loveland, Fannin Jr., and even Gadsden the second.
We'll touch on him in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll touch on him too. But yeah,
I agree with the Warren thing. It's like everyone loves him because he's just this big like goofball. He's like a poor man's Gronk where he's
recency bias.
People. He's in highlights. He takes screens. He does the Wildcat stuff. Hayden Winks had a bunch of great stats. He said he saw I think it was 31 screens, bleaks, rub routes, like all within 5 yards this year on his tape. And he said he had 77 yards per game, but 63% of his receptions came within 5 yards of line of scrimmage. That's just not impressive. People are gonna say, "Oh, Wildcat." If you're in the NFL, how many times are you actually gonna line him up at Wildcat? He drives me nuts. He's 6'5", 256. He can't block. People think he can block. He's not a blocker at all. He's like a Mark Andrews type, but like less skillful. He's just like the big. He looks like those old school Gronk tapes where he was like bouncing off like the Commanders players and making them look like children.
Yeah,
he's doing this at 22 years old. He did nothing for his first 3 years at Penn State. Absolutely nothing. Theo Johnson started over him easily. Like it wasn't even close.
Yeah. So I did mention Brock Bowers earlier. Actually, Colston Loveland has a higher percentage of team receiving yards when on the field in their career than Brock Bowers.
Oh, yeah, there's that. And then there's not this past year. So what sucks is that Michigan's quarterback room is so dreadful last year that he obviously was great because he was targeted a bunch. They couldn't throw the ball over 10 yards. And so that made him look like pretty mediocre. Yeah. People forgot how good he was the year before with JJ.
Yeah. My top 3 is Colston Loveland, Harold Fannin Jr., and Oronde Gadsden the second. So those are all the 3 guys that I'm taking over Tyler Warren personally.
I have Warren at 2, but I think that is most of a draft capital thing. Like my brain just being like, all right, he's probably going in the top 10-ish, probably 10, or even 7 to the Jets.
God, that is such a fade in real life, and
it is.
It's not.
I just know it's gonna happen, and that's like what's crazy. Like all these, and like someone like Jeremiah McShay, like a lot of those guys, they love him. And I'm like, how can you be a film guy and love this guy when all of his receptions are within 5 yards?
It's the film guys that love him.
That makes me not like him. I can see the highlights.
And it's the film guys that hate Burden. And it's the film guys that also don't have Loveland as tight end 1.
Which is crazy because Loveland has better real life film. Like maybe not the better highlight tape, but
Loveland is a way better receiver than Warren is.
He's a better blocker. I mean, he's not the greatest blocker, but he's at least tries, and he'll be an inline guy. He can go outside. Warren is just going to be pigeonholed into like this gimmick shit. Like if he goes to like the Dolphins, I mean, he's not going to. He's not going to fall that far. But like a team like the Dolphins that would like do like Johnny Smith stuff with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's like where he would flourish. And if he goes to like the Jets, he's gonna suck.
That's someone I can absolutely see taking Tyler Warren is the New York Jets.
I'm seeing a lot of that.
What better franchise to take my biggest walking fade in this draft than the New York Jets?
Yes, exactly. We'll just be irrelevant, thank God.
Yeah.
So we did. If you want to talk about Fannin, I had him at 3. I think that's even. Yeah, that's actually higher. Now Elijah Arroyo, who we both are, we kind of like. The consensus has him at 3. We both have Fannin. Actually, you have him at 2. I have him at 3.
Yeah.
But when he's kind of like when you guys were talking about Genti last week, where he hasn't played anybody. Blah, blah, blah. Well, your other co-host. That's the opposite for Fannin. He dismantled every good team that he played against. Like Penn State put up over 100. He had another game against a Power 5, absolutely dominated that too. Like he's a baller.
Fannin's very good. Also, he kind of fell too recently with him running a 4.71.
He's not a 4.71 guy.
He's not. If you really care about these guys and what they run and they're boxers, it really doesn't matter at all. It's what we see on the field. Also, deep metrics mostly. Harold Fannin Jr. is like. I personally think he's an elite tight end prospect.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's probably not going to get the draft capital he deserves. He probably is going to go in round 2 or 3 or 4. But he has an 100th percentile college dominator rating and a 92nd percentile breakout age. Both higher than Tyler Warren. He was first in rec yards per team pass attempt and first in rec yards market share. Both Colston Loveland and Harold Fannin Jr. both had a higher targets per route run and in both 2024 and 2023. So for me, it's not close. You can argue Gadsden, my tight end 3, and Warren.
Who I love, but yeah, 3 is kind of crazy.
For me,
it's going to be like a round 6. Maybe.
Okay, me putting Gadsden at 3 may also be like a personal vendetta against Tyler Warren.
I can see that.
But like if we're comparing the two, like he's got higher rec yards per team pass attempt and higher rec yards team market share. So
if Gadsden played for Penn State, I think would be having to.
Gadsden used to be a wide receiver,
mm-hmm.
And then in 2022 he, moved over to tight end, and he ended up being like 10th in receiving grade amongst like all P5 receivers that year, in his first year as a tight end, which is, absurd. So there's the ability to adapt quick. Whatever team drafts him he'll do whatever he asks or whatever they ask. So Gadsden has hands.
Yeah, his dad was a stud too. I used to love watching his dad.
Was he on the Dolphins?
Yeah.
His dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old school AFC East. But
Yeah.
no, I do like Gadsden a lot. But me even liking him a lot, I have him down at 8. But I like this tight end class a lot. I have so on Loveland, Warren, Fannin, and then Mason Taylor, who you're very down on. I have him at 4. I think you have him at like 10 or so, or 8.
I know he was a good prospect. Maybe I'm uneducated on Mason Taylor. Maybe you can educate me, but I don't see it. I know he's a very young guy. He's only 20. I think he's the youngest in the class.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Harold Fannin, I think Fannin's the youngest actually in the class. But someone's mentioning, or Cal says Gunnar Helm.
I had Helm at 4 or 5, and I just bumped him all the way down to 7 the other day.
I think he's
to move up a few other guys.
I
actually like him. Like I liked watching him. That was the only player in Texas who I liked next to Jay on Blue. But I don't know. There's so many tight ends in this class where I don't think you can go terribly wrong from Taylor. So like my 4, where is it? I have Taylor, Arroyo, Ferguson, Helm, Gadsden. Like I like that group a lot. I think a few of them are going to hit.
I am skeptical on Elijah Arroyo. I like him, but if I'm picking fades out of my top 5, it's going to be Warren and Arroyo. Arroyo, like I didn't even have him on a board before his pro day. Really, did you?
I did. I had him at 6, I think. I liked Miami's offense just because it was fun to watch. So I kind of did watch him a little. He was coming off an ACL in 2022, so 2023 missed the whole season, and then last year with Cam Ward played very
Yeah,
well.
that's the thing too. He had like
He reminds me of like Gesicki a little bit. Like that's like he's like a seams guy. Like that just like works in the NFL for tight ends.
Yeah. That's true too.
Yeah, that will definitely keep him on the field. If I were to like comp Aurora, it'd be Gesicki. Mason Taylor reminds me a bit of like Hunter Henry or like Pat Fry. Like they're not gonna more of like a tight end streamer, I guess. But I think he could hit. He'll have a long NFL career. I just do like this tight end class a lot. And then there's a guy who we both like now is Terrance Ferguson. What do you think about him?
Yeah, Terrance Ferguson is extremely athletic, which I think is something you ideally look for in tight ends. So usually ones who test well, flab trap boards. But I think Terrance Ferguson is actually pretty good. He's my tight end 7. I have Jake Browningstool just ahead of him, and you could probably argue either or. Terrance Ferguson could probably be ahead of him. But yeah, I mean, he ran I think he ran the fastest 40 in the class, Ferguson.
Yeah.
Which is like 86th percentile, 4.63. That's very good at 6'5", like 250.
Yeah, all these tight ends are huge. They're all like 6'5" plus.
Correct. Yeah, they're all. Fannon's a little undersized, I guess. He's 6'3", 240. But yeah, all of the guys in the top 10, they're all 6'5", 240 at minimum.
Mm-hmm. And he won't have just a bunch of hospital balls being thrown to him from Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
If there's anyone else that we like outside of, I guess, 8, we both do have Brainstool. I have him at 9. I do like him a lot as a pass
He's
back type, like one of those guys.
Yeah, he had a 95th percentile breakout age and 96nd percentile yards per reception. So, both graded pretty well. That's why I had him over Ferguson. Mm-hmm. Ferguson's more athletic, so there might be something there. Browningstool was not nearly as athletic. He ran like a 4.75 or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, outside of those guys, I like Jalen Conyers and then Luke Lakey from Iowa. He was top 5 in both rec yards per team pass attempt and rec yards market share for his career, for amongst these tight ends. So
and
I think
from tight end you. So.
Oh yeah, Iowa.
So I have I think we both have. I have him at 10. You have him at 9. You said.
Lakey, I got him at T9. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have Mitchell Evans is one of my sleepers. He had a knee injury last year, but looked pretty good. He's back to normal. I did see he had like a 90 percentile 10-yard split, so it looks like he's back and healthy. Tight end is always kind of tough, especially when you get lower. I have Bryson Nesbitt just because Drake made him look good. Hopefully he goes to Patriots. Not your boy, what's his name from Florida State? Start, but we'll see.
No. Wait, from Florida State?
Jaheim Bell.
Oh, yeah. My deep tight end stash, like never gonna touch my roster.
That'd be my Bryson Nesbitt of this year, probably.
Yeah. I like Mitchell Evans. I think he's good. Bryson Nesbitt is pretty good, but really undersized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd be more of like an age, like he's not gonna do anything.
Actually, I don't think he's that undersized. He's just slow as shit. Yeah, he runs a 4.9.
Our guy Kyle is into Jaheim Bell. You always have to find one.
Wait, Bell will be
fullback
this year.
Fullback. I don't know. He doesn't block like that, does he?
I don't know. Kind of. If they don't draft tight end in this class, then
I think the Patriots have.
What is tight end for the Patriots after Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper finish their deal?
That's why I think I would love like
Jaheim
one
Bell.
of these pass catchers, like a Gadsden or someone like that.
Yes. The Patriots need pass catchers. We know that.
All right, we've spent 1 second too long on Jaheim Bell talk.
Yeah, we didn't need that.
But yeah, in general, our tight ends, it seems like we're both pretty high on several players, which you can't really say that often in tight ends.
Yeah.